Tbilisi is rapidly gaining fame as a hidden culinary gem, and in this episode, we're diving deep into the heart of Tbilisi, a city that effortlessly marries old world charm with a dynamic food scene. We'll uncover 4 remarkable dining spots, from traditional family-run taverns that have stood the test of time to modern eateries innovating traditional Georgian cuisine. So whether you're a passionate foodie, a travel enthusiast, or simply visiting Tbilisi for the very first time, we'll show you exactly where you need to go for some incredible food in Tbilisi. Our first stop is Pranari Restaurant. It's a quirky old traditional style Georgian diner, and they have an extensive menu of authentic Georgian dishes and local wines. You certainly won't find service with a smile here, and it's safe to assume dishes will turn up on their own sweet time. That being said, the food is definitely worth the wait. I started off with the ostri, a local stew made of slow-cooked beef with helpings of garlic, onion and chili. This dish is extremely hearty and really warms you to the core. Next, I had to try their Khinkali, one of Georgia's most famous dishes. You will find these in almost every restaurant, but these ones I had were some of the best I found. The meat was lean and mixed with fresh herbs in a salty, clear broth. The dumpling wrapper is also a little bit thinner than elsewhere, which made it much better. And finally, we had the mtsvadi. There are a lot of different types served, but I definitely suggest the pork. It was quite salty, but I personally actually really enjoyed that. It was crispy on the outside, but extremely juicy and tender on the inside. Our next stop is Tamtaki, a cozy little eatery which was recently featured on Mark Wien's latest trip to Georgia that wasn't even on the radar for a few locals I spoke to. Every dish is hand prepared in front of you, and despite the limited kitchen space, they're producing food with big flavour. Their signature dish is Tamtaki, a handmade flatbread topped with tons of fresh ingredients. Their buffalo kebab is probably their most famous dish, however the chef recommended the pulled pork version to me. He starts off by mixing pork with a homemade sauce containing caramelized onions and hand-rolling fresh dough prepared every morning to the correct thickness. It then goes into the oven to bake for about 5 minutes. Next, he tops it with rocket, pickled onions, raw onions, and then helpings of the pork mixture. You can have it served open as a platter or as a wrap, which I would definitely recommend. This thing is perfectly balanced. Sweetness from the caramelized onions, crunch and acidity from the raw and pickled onions, extremely meaty and juicy, and the bread is exceptional. Price is around 14 gel, so it's super affordable and it's actually very filling. My next stop was recommended to me by some locals I met on my trip. Orbeliani Bazaar is a food market and food court serving everything from traditional Georgian dishes to fresh meat, spices, chilies, burgers, sushi and dim sum. While there is certainly a lot of choice, we were told to come to Shotty. Shotty is a thin Georgian style bread, which is typically quite crunchy. I was recommended to try the pork rib shotty with lashings of plum sauce and pomegranate, and the mushroom cheese and black pepper shotty. Now, full disclosure, these things are huge and extremely filling. While I will admit the pork rib shotty was a little sweet and acidic for my taste, the mushroom and cheese shotty was incredible. Our final stop is Maspinzelo. I can imagine in the summer this is quite a place to sit outside and soak up the city. It was also full of locals when we visited, which is always a good sign. To start, we had one of the best Georgian salads of our trip, with fresh, bright tomatoes, cucumber and onions, and some fantastic Khinkali. But the star dish for us was their pork ojahuri. This is similar to the mtsvadi pork barbecue we had at the first restaurant, except it's served with fried potatoes, onions, and tons of garlic. This dish was exceptionally good and went excellent with a pint of cold Georgian beer. A quick bonus spot, which we didn't get to try, is the Old Wine Museum, an area newly renovated with loads of restaurants and bars. Be sure to check it out when you go. Thanks for watching.